trying to make a brass one. Make a brass one of this as well. It's got an inset because I'm going to set it into a plaque, wooden plaque. And then I'm going to try and engrave some words in here and here. Engrave with an engraver on a CNC. I'm not sure how it'll work on the brass because I'm using aluminum brass, which is pretty hard. So we're going to give it a set. Pack it down here. Probably pack it this way, not that way. So we'll get it going here and start it up. Get you guys set up so you can see it burn once it gets going here. Just gotta close my lid. Now this is my third attempt at trying to cast this part with green sand, and I'm having no luck. I don't know if it's my sand's bad or what. I just can't get it to cast right. You can see that it's packing good and it's holding, but it's just sticking inside the part, and I don't know why. And I mean, there's some draft on here, but apparently not enough. My holes are too small or something, maybe, I don't know. This whole section right here has nothing holding it in. I don't know why it's staying. Maybe my sand doesn't have enough grip to it. Too dry, maybe, I don't know. Just not getting anywhere. That, and I was trying to make it out of brass, and I can't get my copper to melt in my propane furnace. The aluminum is melting in there. I thought maybe at first I just tried the copper with no aluminum, and then I added the it wasn't melting at all. So I threw the aluminum in, thinking if I got some molten aluminum in the bottom, let the copper sit on top of that, it would help it, you know, sit in the pool of aluminum and melt, but it didn't work either. So, two negatives does not make a positive. Not sure what I'm going to do. This is obviously not going to work. I'm going to take this out of here. This is just too detailed for my green sand. I'll have to try and go to some Petrobond or something, maybe, I don't know. So probably my drafts aren't enough, or I'm trying to go too small holes for green sand. Who knows? I've got all my release agent on there. Well, I'm using talcum powder, but I've got a ton of that on there, so I can't even get it out of this little hole here. That's probably a good part of it, is that hole's too small. But that's not holding this whole chunk over here, and where there's nothing over here. So that's what we're trying to do. It's just a plaque I was trying to make, but not having much luck with it, so not sure what else to do now. Shoot, if my CNC mill could do aluminum, I'd just cast the damn thing solid and etch it out in aluminum, but my CNC can't do aluminum, so I'm kind of stuck. And then over here, this has been going for a couple hours, and there's no way it should have to go for a couple hours. I'm getting nowhere with it. Well, I take that back. All my aluminum I put in there is melted. Oh, actually, I just started melting some copper. Look at that. Yep, just started melting some copper. Must be hitting the temperatures I need. I'll have to get my thermometer out. Let's see, I'm not sure what happens when you get aluminum up to 1900 degrees, though. It makes me a little nervous. I'd have rather gone the other direction. Not having much luck with this green sand. I've used it in the past. I've used the same exact sand on these two objects, and it worked well. What I didn't do this time, and that could be all it is I didn't primer the parts, and that could be a lot of it. Wood's got a grain to it. Maybe the wood grain is holding onto the sand. So I guess I primer it and see where I can go from there. Maybe that's all it is, and then maybe add some more draft onto my edges and fill in those two little holes and try and cut them in afterwards with a Dremel. That's where I'm at right now. So I got some good news. The copper is actually starting to melt. I just took a temperature reading with my pyrometer. That's still hot. temperature reading with my pyrometer, and it said it was 1770. So we're getting close. We got about 200 degrees to go, which is fine. I think we can hit that still. We'll find out in a little bit here. 200 degrees shouldn't be that much harder to reach, and it looks like some of the copper is actually melting already, or at least breaking down. And I think once I get a pull of copper, it'll be much easier to add more to it. I have a lot more than what I have in here to go, but I don't want to put it in until I'm sure I can melt it. Most of my copper is coming from these blocks. I've got to tear off the tape on this one before I put it in. But this is a block of copper wiring from inside of a microwave oven. The transformers are really big in microwave ovens, and that's about, I don't know, 2 or 3 pounds of copper right there with a lot of lacquer. So I'll have to melt the lacquer off, and well, it'll just burn off. It just fades away when it gets in there. But I'll tear some of this paper off, and then we'll throw that in before we throw it in the trash, before we throw the copper in. But I want to make sure I got a pool before I throw this in, because it's such thin wire. I don't know if it's vaporized or if it would actually melt. I think I need a pool of something in there before I put this in there. So that's what I'm waiting for, to get a pool of copper before I throw this in there. So a little bit of an update. The furnace is still going. Been at it for almost 3 hours now. I'm at 1750. I got to 1800 on one side, 1750 on the other side. I don't think I can melt copper with propane. I've almost gone through a half a tank of gas. Maybe not that much. But I noticed my pressure dropped as my tank got a little lower and the temperature came back down. I think I almost hit 1800, maybe 1900 at some points. And I never got the some of the little copper pipe to melt. The bigger copper pipe melted, but the little copper pipe did not. So there must be one must be a little bit less copper than the other. I don't know. And all the wire stuff, I put some of that in there, but I'm not sure if it just vaporized or if it melted. I don't know if it's the aluminum can't get that hot or what, but that's what. So I've had to add some air. I just couldn't get hot, so I thought that would be the only way to get hotter. And man, did it get hotter. It's just a glowing orange. So hopefully we'll hit our temperature soon here. And I'm trying to piece and put some drafts in it, so we'll see how this does after I get it all drafted up here. A little primer. See if it doesn't help to keep the sand from sticking. But now this is really getting hot over here. I need a little more draft. You see the edges all still have sand in them, and the two holes have sand in them. So much better. Much better. Need a little more draft. Just putting my screw, so I'm going to put that in really quick. Break there, but not worry about that. Obviously those holes are not going to work. Alright, you want to know what bad is? When it starts raining and you're doing Foundry work. I got my canvas up. I'm hoping I'm not melting it over on the far side over there. But we'll see. Water and molten metal, not a good mix. Tried to scrape out some of the garbage on top, and there was a lot of it. And from the looks of it, I have aluminum and copper still separated. and some brass. And it solidified almost as soon as I brought it out, so I put it back in. We're not there yet. Rain stopped at least. More than that. And at least it came out the other side. We'll see how it does when it shrinks. And it's almost all aluminum. The copper wouldn't melt. Oh, there goes my fan. Just died. I think it's dying. Alright, well, better take care of that. So, the air dryer died. And wouldn't you know, at the same time, ran out of propane. So, we're done. Ironically, we ended up doing aluminum pour because I could never get the copper to melt. It started to melt, but I'm not sure you can see it from here. And this is pretty hot. I'll grab a piece that I cooled off. It started to melt, and I got more of a bronzish copper mix. You can see here, this is really copper looking. There's a little more aluminum looking here. A lot of garbage inside there. But it's just a mix between the two. So I could never get them to properly mix. So I went ahead and threw some more aluminum in since I had already made the cast. And whether that works or not, we'll see. But I went ahead and threw some more aluminum in. And as you can see, the riser, good for nothing. So it did go down one side and came out the other. It was a little hotter than you should pour aluminum because I was trying to get the copper melting. But maybe we'll get something out of it that we can work with. Nonetheless, I'm done for the day. I can't get copper to melt in this system. I'll have to remember that from now on, that I have to stick to aluminum. However, now I have a crucible full of molten copper. I'm hoping that it'll shrink. I don't know what the shrinking factor of copper is, but maybe it'll shrink and I turn it over and knock it out for all I know. I don't know. Or it'll just be the end of that crucible. Alright. Well, it is a metal crucible, so I can beat on it a little bit. Got to clean up and put things away. Long day trying to melt copper and no luck. that's going to be it for this video. Well, actually, that's not true. I'm going to give this about 10 minutes. I'll unwrap that and let you see what we get. Be back in a minute. Woo, doggy, I am thirsty. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes. We're going to unveil in 1 second, but I want to do a real quick shout out to a friend of mine. He and I were having a hop growing competition. And these are the hops that he grew. I've got another 2, 3, 4 stacks there. And each one of these bags is about 2 trays. Each 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags. There's about 2 trays of these all together. I'll have 6, 7, 8 bags at about 2 ounces apiece. Actually, I think this one was 1 ounce because it didn't quite fill it up. But that's Cascade hops that he had grown at his house, and I grew hops at my house in my backyard, and I got 1 bag. So we know who's got the green thumb. That'd be Andy. Thanks, Andy. Alright. Oh, and thanks for the beer too. Andy gave me the beer. He had some sitting around his house, and he was very generous and offered it up to me. So we're going to go ahead and put the camera back on and pop this thing open, and you can see, I don't know if you were looking earlier, but it did shrink down a bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. So it's good that it didn't go below the top. We'll see when we crack it all open here. So I'm going to hook the camera up and get it all ready to go. Be right back. Alright, got all the tools that I'll need to do this. There's not much safety. You can see the steam coming out though. Look at that. So it's still hot. I think I'm actually burning wood right here because I had a little carve right there. This wasn't even being used, so I'm going to go ahead and put it back in my sand bucket. Never even got touched. But I think I'm burning wood because I think the corner here was too close to the wood, so we'll see. Take my hinges off. Yeah, I'll put both gloves on when I open it. You never know. Oh, that's not good for the mixture of the sand. And leave the gloves on. I was hoping to keep this sand separate from the other sand, but I might not be doing that today. Ooh, still hot. Okay, just been a short while. We'll let it rest for a second more like that. Holy cow, it's hot. Yeah, it did. It definitely started getting too close to the wood there. That's what happened. Gotta get some kind of plaque. Let's do what we brought the tongs out to do. I'm going to try and dump the sand in the bucket. Whew. Sand's burning my pants, actually. Now the bottom's nice and flat. So that's what we were going for there. Set it off to the side for a second while I try and get what's left of my good sand separated from my bad sand here. Not going to happen, is it? It's all just going to fall in. That was excellent. Every time I do this, I lose a little more sand, so I'll start making some more. I'm thinking about switching to bentonite sand anyway. No, not bentonite, so that's what I'm using now. Whew. Yeah, this didn't have any copper at all. Looks like it's all aluminum. It actually got something going on. I can't tell what it is. can hear that popping noise. I don't like it. Turn it over. I took it out too soon. Wasn't done shrinking. Yeah, look at the face of it. It's all crackling. That is crazy. Whole face of it's pitting up and popping. Maybe I'll get my glasses back on. My guess is I opened that thing too soon. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I think I opened it too soon. Wasn't finished solidifying or shrinking or whatever it is that it does. But I'm pouring aluminum right into these pans and they haven't done that. Maybe it's the difference in the copper that actually got in there. The two different metals. Maybe the copper and the aluminum are coming apart from each other right now. Yeah, she ain't pretty. Alright, well, we'll polish her up and let you guys see her after she polished up, and who knows, maybe it'll turn out to be something at the end. So I picked it up to carry it into the garage, and I dropped it. And when I dropped it, it bounced. More interestingly, it just shattered into pieces. I mean, like, it just popped right off the side of it. So whatever we've made some of the weakest aluminum I've ever seen. And it's still popping. In fact, this is garbage. I guess the mixing of two metals made it brittle. Look at that. I was going to take it inside, throw it some water. I'm afraid the thing might explode though. I think I'll just let it naturally cool. But it got really, really bad. And it literally just popped off. But look how shiny that is. Aluminum's never that shiny. So I don't know what the copper did to it, but it just popped right off. Made life easy. I don't have to cut its big chunks off, but may not be usable. just thought I'd share.